A test suite with 100% coverage. Every line executed. Now break the code on purpose. Flip a comparison. Drop a null check. In one study, suites like this caught 4% of those breaks. The rest stayed green. Coverage measures which lines ran. It never measured whether anything was checked. 5 ways AI-written tests run your code without verifying it. Failure 1. Assertion theater. The test calls your function and asserts the result is not null, or that it's defined, or that nothing threw. It looks like verification. It's a pulse check. A function that returns the wrong total passes. A function that returns an empty cart passes. Anything that returns at all passes. The tell. Read the assert and name the value that would make it fail. If you can't name one quickly, the test has no opinion about your code. Failure 2. The mirror. The model runs your function, sees it return 42, and writes, expect the result to equal 42. That number didn't come from a specification. It came from the code, 30 milliseconds earlier. If the function is correct, the test is correct. If the function is wrong, the test is confidently, permanently wrong. And now it defends the bug. The next developer who breaks it will assume the mistake is theirs. A test encodes what the code is supposed to do. This one encodes what it already did. Failure 3. The mock that tests itself. Mock the repository to return a user named Ada. Call the service. Assert the name is Ada. Nothing was tested. The value went in through the mock and came out the other side. Your service could sort wrong, filter wrong, drop half the fields. As long as it passes that one object through, the test is green. The tell. Cover the production code with your hand. If you can still predict the assertion is about the mock. Failure 4. Boundary blindness. Ask for edge cases and you'll get them. Empty string. Null. A very large number. A negative. Representative values. Comfortably far from the actual edge. The bugs don't live there. They live at exactly 0. At exactly the limit. One past the limit. The second the clock rolls over. An off by one error survives a suite full of edge cases, because the suite tested near the boundary instead of on it. Ask for the boundary by name. It rarely finds it alone. Failure 5. Frozen in time. This one costs the most, because it defeats the entire point of a regression suite. Researchers took 8 models, generated tests, then changed the programs underneath. 22,000 variants. When a generated test failed after a change, more than 99% of the time that same test passed on the original code, while running the part that changed. The tests weren't checking the code in front of them, they were checking the version they remembered. Now the uncomfortable part. Another study pulled 2,200 test commits written by coding agents in real repositories and compared them to human-written tests. The AI tests were longer. Higher density of assertions, lower cyclomatic complexity, cleaner, flatter, easier to read. Coverage contribution, comparable to human tests. Read that list again. More assertions is failure 1. Coverage without verification is the 4% number. Flat linear tests are what you get when nothing branches on real behavior. Every metric we use to judge a test suite rewards these 5 failures. The tools didn't break our tests. They optimized for the scoreboard we were already using. So stop grading tests by their own report card. There's one measurement that can't be gamed, and it takes 2 minutes and no tools. Break the code on purpose. Pick one function your suite covers. Change one line in the production code. Flip a greater than to greater or equal. Return an empty list instead of the real one. Delete a validation. Run the suite. If something goes red, that test earns its place. If everything stays green, you've proven the test doesn't check that behavior. Not a suspicion. A demonstration. Do it 3 times on your most critical function. The tests that stayed green are the ones to rewrite first. Formally, this is mutation testing, and there are tools that automate it. You don't need them to start. A test you've never seen fail is not a test. It's a line of code that runs. The rule is one sentence. A test earns its place only after you've watched it fail. For the right reason. Go break one line in your most important function. Whatever stays green, put it in the comments.